to April. I remembered what month it was only because I wrote it down. Tales Point High Book Club. It is April, right? We've been reading The Dead Game by A. Bates. And yeah, I've read this one a couple of times and I've always found it quite fun. So I'm really intrigued to hear what you thought and what our special guest thought. So I'm just going to add everybody in. 1 second. Right, I'll see who I've added in, and then hopefully they will magically appear on the screen. Hiya!
Hi.
Hello, you okay?
How are ya?
Hiya, you okay? Just waiting for Kelsi. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yay! It worked. Who's
Hey!
Kelsi?
Hi.
Hi guys! The old school April co-hosts and host team. Yay! Or some of the team. You've been doing such a fantastic job, guys, of old school April. It's fantastic, honestly. See that everyone's posts and like seeing things that just like remind you of like something you'd forgotten about as well. It's just mind-blowing, isn't it? But well done, guys. You've done a great job.
Thank
But
you so much. It
thank
was
you
all
for
Kelsi.
joining us. Oh no, well done, all of you, and Kelsi. Yes. And I'm
Thank you.
surprised Kelsey's awake actually, because didn't you do like an overnight? Whoa, what time did you last till?
6 a.m. my time.
Wow.
Whoa. So you've only probably had like a couple of hours sleep, right?
Like 3.5, yeah.
Whoa.
Or 4, yeah.
Oh dear. I would not look as alive as you do.
Well,
Definitely not.
I was like, when you asked me the days, I was like, I don't mind. This is what the 90s were like.
Yeah.
Staying up all night, getting a few hours of sleep. Like, what better way to feel nostalgic and to really honor these kind of old school books than stay up all night. I had to wake up and I finished it, like, when I woke up. So sorry, I just finished it.
Yeah, I read about the last 20 pages in the last hour, so I was like, oh. But I'd read it before, so I kind of knew what was going to happen, but I thought I better refresh myself. Oh, well done for doing that. I would have been like asleep on the live feed, I think, definitely.
I
Way
thought
past my bedtime.
I was going to be asleep too, but it ended up being great. Like, the key is eat as much sugar as you can. I had like 2 packs of Nutter Butters, not sponsored, by the way. I'm not sponsored. I had tons of Peeps, also not sponsored. I just like candy. And I think the sugar fueled me on.
Oh, I'll remember that for next time.
Yeah, you need sugar. That's like all you need.
Sharon says she popped in and out of the live sprints. It was such fun.
I'm so glad. Thank you, Sharon, for tuning in.
Oh yeah, so as I mentioned, as it was old school April, I thought it would be like super fun and super cool to have you all on, and I'm a huge fans of your content and your YouTube channels, and I know I've chatted to all of you like on and off, and I thought, why not? Let's all get together and have a good old nostalgic chat about this crazy book. So just to start off with, if people don't know, just introduce yourself and tell us a little about yourself and your YouTube channel. So do you want to go first, Kelsi?
Sure, if everyone else doesn't mind. I've already talked a lot, but I love these ladies who are with me too, so I really do have to shout them out. Like, you can't go wrong subscribing, and that's why I asked them to be my co-hosts for Old School April, because I truly love all my co-hosts. I have actually like quite a few co-hosts for Old School April, and it's because like it's basically like some of the greatest people I know online, and they're all nostalgic like me. So if you're nostalgic like myself and my co-host, you might like all of our channels, but my channel specifically, my book channel is Slime and Slashers. The Slime is for 90s Nickelodeon because I love like everything 90s, but specifically in the 90s, I was a 90s Nick kid, because that was really big in America, of course. It was
Yeah.
Nickelodeon, very popular. And the slashers is just to represent my love of movies. So slime and slashers, so like
Ah.
everything from 90s nostalgia to like horror, obviously. But recently I did start a new movie channel called Nightmares and Nostalgia. It kind of
Ah.
mirrors the name a little bit,
Mm.
but there I'll talk movies and like pop culture stuff. But I will say I'm behind on making videos, but I'm gonna be getting back in the full swing of things soon. Hopefully, maybe.
Oh, I'm gonna check those out, definitely. And introduce yourself, Elizabeth. I know you're a fan of like the gothic horror, and I love that. I love the way you always intrigue me into reading it as well.
Yeah, I'm Elizabeth Sagewood, so on Instagram and on YouTube, known both under my name. And like Kelsey, I did start a movie channel recently as well called Movie Milestones. I haven't been on there yet. We've been watching movies like crazy, and we've been watching them per year. So we've done 1988, we've done
Oh,
1995. So my husband and I are having a lot of fun with that. So I'll be gearing up that channel again here soon and talking about movies. So I love everything nostalgia. I feel very old in this group.
no,
80s
I feel
baby.
really old.
And yeah, so love everything 80s, 90s, early 2000s, and then have a love of gothic horror as well. So I do have a book club also called the Haunted Victorian Book Club that we read gothic books every month as well.
Oh, it's so good. You always like entice me, and I'm like, oh, that book sounds so good. I need to pick it up, and then like order more books, and then I'm like, oh, more books. And last but by no means least, Katrina or Kat. Do you prefer to be called Kat or Katrina?
Whatever you want. That's what I tell everybody. I'm like, call me whatever nickname you want. I go by Kat a lot at my job, actually. So that's funny. A couple people call me that. But yeah, I'm Katrina Brown, and my YouTube is Katrina Brown, and I read a lot of horror books, some thrillers sometimes, and I've been doing more like crochet content on my channel, and Halloween decor hunting will happen.
Oh, yeah.
Halloween all year, and reading horror, and also loving nostalgia, old movies, old books.
Oh, that sounds so good. And think you sent me a picture the other day, and I was like, oh, I loved your jumper.
Oh yeah,
Did you make that then?
I did make that this winter.
That was so amazing. Oh, I loved it. Oh, I need
Oh,
one.
thank
I need
you.
need one in my life now. So obviously this month we've been reading The Dead Game by A. Bates. So yeah, mine's the UK cover. I know, Kelsi, you've got the American one. Yeah. It's funny that taglines were the same, but I like the US one better than this greeny UK version, I think. And yeah, sometimes I'm never sure. I'm like, I can't pick between the two, but yeah, I like this one better. So the tagline on this one is "Someone is playing for keeps." Very dramatic, but actually factual, because sometimes the taglines don't match what's happening in the
Yeah.
book. So just quickly, did you ever play a game at school or even as an adult that went a little bit wrong? Elizabeth, anything from your side?
Well, it wasn't like a game really, but we ended up getting in a lot of trouble after. So I was at a sleepover party. I think I was in like grade 8 or something. So we were like 14, 15, and we were watching Candyman. And one of the girls she was kind of scared, and she was, this is really mean. I'm so sorry. She was really scared watching it, so we locked her in the bathroom and turned out the light and started yelling, "Candyman, Candyman!"
No.
That is scary.
She had a full-on panic. She started crying. We got in so much trouble. She had to go home. It was this whole thing. It was awful.
Oh, but it's the kind of things kids, do, especially kids who love horror as well,
Yeah.
definitely. Oh, how about you, Katrina? Did you play any like games that went wrong when you was younger?
I feel like we were usually in trouble for playing manhunt with the neighborhood kids for
Yeah.
just staying out way too late, it being like 9 p.m. or 10 p.m., and my parents being like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, I can't leave. We are playing Manhunt right now. And we would go very hard. We were very like if you're on a certain team or something, it was like to the bitter end. Like you
have to follow
win.
it through.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and how about you, Kelsi?
Nothing like super fun. I will say like 2 years ago we played Chubby Bunny, you know, where you put marshmallows in your mouth and then I felt sick afterwards. Like not any kind of like fun, exciting games. I will say one time my friends and I went and like drew stuff all over my other friend's car. He like lived down the street from me, so we had a sleepover and like overnight we like nothing that wasn't erasable. So it wasn't like we graffitied his car for life or whatever, but just little pranks. Like I know one time we put Skittles on somebody's car, but that was bad because it melted and they were like, my grandma's gonna be so mad. It's gonna ruin the car. But they scraped it off. But anyway, I don't really have any like epic stories. Like the Candyman story is epic, but
it is epic.
But I don't have any exciting stories like that. I was just a weirdo kid.
See, I'm the same. Like, I'm the type of person that people play the game on. So I've had lots of pranks done to me. So talking about a car, like one of my old colleagues who was leaving work. So I've got a phobia of cotton wool. I don't know whether that's a thing, but I hate cotton wool. I just, I can't even talk about it. It sends me funny. So when he was leaving, he must have stolen my car key and he literally got, tons of cotton wool and he wrapped it all around my steering wheel, under the door handles. It was everywhere. Like when I say everywhere, it was everywhere. So yeah, so there's a video of me somewhere. I'll have to see if I can find it, of me walking to my car and realizing there was just cotton wool everywhere. So yeah, people normally play the games on me. I think I'm quite easily gullible, to be honest. So yeah, I'll never forget that. It was even like the thought of it now just gives me the shivers. Oh dear. But what the characters in this book do is play a game with a hit list. So a group of kids called Linnie, Ming and Jackson, who all appear to want to be the top dog at school, and they decide to have a little bit of fun and play a game to teach all the people who are doing better than them a lesson, and they called it the dead game. So it's basically a simple game. All you have to do is embarrass your chosen public enemy number one, the liars, the cheats, the bullies. Sounds fun, right? So it starts out as one simple target, an idea to pinch a letter jacket and leave it on a gravestone and go like all Blair Witch before it's time. And when that doesn't really work out, the list gets bigger and they get more targets. So the group decide, as the game turns a little bit sinister, the group decide to stop playing, but someone keeps playing for keepsies. Dum dum dum. So there will be spoilers ahead. We can spoil the book. That's no problem. And if anyone's got any comments, pop them up and I'll read them out. But yeah, so the story is kind of told from three characters' point of view. So we've got Linnie, Ming and Jackson, which is quite unusual to have it in a point horror, like with differing views like that. So was that something that you enjoyed in the book, Katrina?
I did. I like the multiple POVs, but it did get a little repetitive.
Yeah.
We can say it was like they were making the same point, each of them, and I was like, okay, maybe we should just stick with one.
Yeah, especially like when you do get to the reveal and then it kind of, you think, well, there's certain things that you've heard from that person's point of view, and then you're thinking, does it make sense?
Yeah.
How about you, Kelsi? Did you like the multiple points of view?
Yeah, I didn't mind it. Obviously, I feel like it kind of throws you off from figuring out who the culprit is a little bit, because all the point of views included, and you're like, oh, unreliable now. I I did like it. But like Katrina said, I totally agree. Sometimes it got a little repetitive, especially, I think Ming's chapters sometimes would go on a little bit like repetitive, like, oh geez, this, and like the same worries. But overall, I liked all the characters. I didn't mind having all of their point of views. I think it was interesting.
Yeah. Especially for a point horror, you normally do just see. I can only think of a handful that have got multiple point of views like that. So it was quite interesting in that respect. How about you, Elizabeth? Did you like the point of views?
Yeah, I have to say, I was fine with it throughout. Same thing like the other girl said. Ming's especially did go on for quite some time, and it could get a little bit repetitive, but I liked the different point of views because it kind of had you thinking like, am I going to pick up on anything that's saying that one of these guys is, they're still the one playing the game. So I did like that.
Yeah, and they kind of going a little bit ahead. They kind of throw in a loop a bit later down the line about a sister. Is it Linnie's sister who has come back into town? So it did throw that suspicion of doubt, like, oh, okay, so we're hearing these point of views, but could it be Linnie's sister? Classic red herring. But I thought that was done, in my opinion, that was done quite well because it threw me off guard a little bit, and I was like, oh.
I honestly,
Wait, could
didn't
it
think
be?
it was going to be Linnie's sister. I didn't think it was going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going.
Oh, okay. I just remember when I first read this, it threw me, and I was like, "Oh, wait, is there a character just going to randomly come in at the last minute and be like, ta-da, I've done it." Oh dear. Kelly put, I have to say straight off the bat that I love this book. So well written, great character development, and genuine friendship. Well, almost. Kelly said, that's true. Teddy said, "Can we just have a moment for Jackson? God love him. A main cast male in a point horror who wasn't a douchebag for a change." Yeah. Did you like Jackson? Like, what were your thoughts on him, Kelsi?
I liked Jackson a lot. I think he was my favorite character. I liked how he felt like very caring for others. Like you could tell that by his feelings for Ming and his relationship with his little brothers. And obviously he was really helping his mom with his little
Yeah.
brothers. So I really liked him. But I mean, I wish we even got more depth from him because sometimes I'm like, come on, like, is he really this dedicated? Like, all he did was run. Like, that's the only interest he had in life.
Yeah.
And then when his friend got a motorcycle, he's like, come on, man, you let down the team. It was like the epitome of cheese, but I liked it. So it worked with the whole cheesy effect. It wasn't just Jackson's character. I think the whole thing had this essence of cheese and corniness, but I liked it. It worked for it because, again, that's very nostalgic for me. So
Yeah, no,
it worked.
definitely. How about you, Elizabeth? Are you a Jackson fan?
Yeah, it was nice. He was the jock, like the tall jock and everything, but he did have that really cute side, the really sweet side with his little brothers and stuff like that. So I really did enjoy him.
Yeah.
So it was refreshing to have a non-douchebag male character for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, like Kelsey said, and I knew when I started reading this book, I was like, I need the cheese factor right now in my reading. And we know that point horror and all those kinds of things are going to come to the table with the cheese factor. And this one definitely delivered on it.
Yeah, I love how like he was with his brothers, calling them the little beasts and things like that. And I was like, that's what I used to call my little brother, the little beast. So it rang true. How about you, Katrina? Do you like Jackson?
I like Jackson. I think I liked him more than Ming. I felt like his chapters were like just more interesting and funny and very down to earth. And it was shocking. Somebody pointing out, like, in a point horror, the jock is actually like nice.
Yeah, it's very unusual. Yeah,
his feelings, he's a well-rounded human being. But yeah, the cheese level is there. I think the whole reasoning of the game, I was like, what? I was kind of thrown off, like, I was telling Kelsi this last night. I was like, I didn't understand why they cared so much. Like, why would you care if somebody's getting good grades in math class or at the science fair or winning the science fair? I was like, I would be like so happy for them or something. And whenever somebody did good, I'd be like, you go, you know, good for you. I was never like, oh my gosh, not me, because no, it wouldn't have been me. Like.
No, they definitely they took the game to the extreme. Considering to start with, it was only meant to be like the twins that were the target, and then the list just grew. It's like, whoa, where did all these people come from?
Like, that guy used his brother's old science fair project and he won, so he's on the list. And I was like, really? Like,
a long-term grudges.
Yeah. That guy didn't sharpen his pencil before taking a test. He's on the list. I was like, no.
Oh dear. They never forgot. I loved, just go back to Jackson just really quick. I loved his obsession with food as well. And then all of the girls obviously bringing him lunch, extra lunch and things. That kind of made me laugh.
Burning
I could just imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that playing out. And then like even when it was commented that he'd lost a lot of weight, because obviously with what happens with his hit Brenda, you know, he loses a lot of weight because he's worrying, well, rightly so, she died, but he loses a lot of weight from that. And I thought, oh, poor Jackson. And then I also loved as well how, because I really laughed at this point, and I remember laughing at it years ago when I read it, when Brenda actually asked him to the party and he said he couldn't go because he was washing his hair. And I was like, go Jackson! I was like, I think I'm in love. Oh dear, yeah, that was great. So they were kind of trying to set up like a little love thing, and especially towards the end between Ming and Jackson. So were we liking that? Did you want them to get together, Kelsi?
Yeah, but I did not like the final, like, the way it's written, the final line. I was like, what does this even mean? Jackson looked into Ming's eyes. You're smart. I'm not, he thought. Ming waved her hand. Like a magic wand? What does that mean? Reading his objections and waving them all away. Jackson smiled. What does that mean? Like, I don't understand. She waves her hand. That's all she says? Like, what? She doesn't say anything. I don't understand that part. I was like, they could have, like, made that ending, like, way more impactful. Like, you know, finally, Ming looks into his eyes and is like, I have to tell you, I love you or something. And then Jackson would have been like, all right, yeah. This is what
Let's go get food.
Like, do you have any milk I can drink? I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of sat there like reenacting it out. So I got my husband to sit down. I was like, sit down in the chair, let me reenact this. So I read it out, and then I was like, He was like, what are you doing? Yeah, he was a bit confused. So even reenacting out doesn't make sense. Oh dear. How about you, Elizabeth? Did you want Ming and Jackson to get together?
Yeah, I thought it was cute. I really did. You know, and they had that scene like kind of towards the beginning where they're like, he's a foot taller than her, so you just picture like this huge guy and like this little girl, and it kind of reminds me of me and my husband actually. So
yeah,
I thought that was super cute.
Yeah, my husband's like over 6 foot and I'm like 5'4", so he's like he towers over me. Oh, how about you, Katrina? Did you like them together, or did you just want them? No, don't get together.
No, I felt they would even each other out. But yeah, the ending was just like, really? At least, like, have some flair to it, like a hug or something.
Yeah,
like,
just a little hug. That's
we
all we
survived
wanted.
it, you know? Like,
all they got was a wave, and how was the wave done? Like this?
Was
That's
it
a
like
dismissal.
Like this?
Like, they're right in front of each other. Why would she wave at him then? I don't know. I don't understand that part.
It doesn't make sense. Matthew, Matthew said, I still have about half. Oh, sorry if we spoil it, Matthew. But I love this one too. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it definitely was a lot of fun. Matthew also said, I agree with Teddy. Jackson was a sweetie. Yeah. And a change to the usual male characters. Sharon said, lovely juicy death in this one, but I felt it deserved a longer book for me. Yeah, like normally we think it's a little bit too long. So I know all these like old 90s books are always pretty short, but sometimes I always think they're still too long. It depends on the subject. But I think, yeah, this one could have done with just a little bit extra. I needed more death. That's what I'm trying to say. More death. Yeah, Teddy said, yeah, loving the Jackson love. Kelly said, how much did these kids eat? The first half was always a scene revolving around food. Yeah.
Can we talk about the level of milk? Like everything
yeah.
had milk. Everything was milk.
So much milk. And that was a big thing like in the 90s, wasn't it? Like, yeah, as well. So it's so true to the 90s. Oh dear. But yeah, it was like it was sponsored by milk placements in the book. Oh, at least like they've got good bones. You know, if they fall down them steps when it's wet, you know, they'll be all right. Brenda obviously didn't drink the milk. Oh dear. Jessie said about the X's and O's, so that's obviously relating to Ming and her home life. Oh, how tragic. Like, what did you think of Ming, and especially like Ming's home life, where, you know, classic absent parents, and the mention of that they used to give a little notes with like the hugs and kisses and then it stopped. I'm so sad. Kelsi, what did you think?
I thought that was so sad, and I guess it makes sense because on the surface, would you really care? I mean, I did well in school, but I wasn't like in place to be number one. I guess if you thought you were going to be valedictorian for a while, and then all of a sudden at the last minute, two guys come in and you find out that they got their placement or their rank in a shady way. I guess it would bother me a little, but I don't know if I would go as far as like wanting revenge or letting it like eat me up for very long. But I guess because Ming is missing a lot from her home life, like the drive to achieve perfection maybe is really strong, especially because like it seems like that's important to her parents and, you know, how they live their lives and their jobs. But obviously there was something lacking for her that I think translated onto why she wanted to even play the game in the first place. Because she didn't seem like as mean-spirited as like Linnie did. So like Linnie, like basically right away when she saw Brenda in art class was already like, I'm putting her on my hit list, like for nothing, for hardly anything. So I was like, well, yeah, definitely Ming is a lot more sympathetic and a lot more empathetic in general as a character. So, I think it has a lot to do with her home life, I have a feeling. So
yeah, that's so true. Such a good observation. How about you, Katrina? Did you like Ming, and what did you think about the whole home life situation?
Yeah, I liked Ming, and yeah, I do think her home life was very sad because I don't want to say I had like suffocating parents or when I was in high school, but they were always around and like, well, how was school and how was that? And I was like, that would be really sad if you didn't have that support at home. And you would want to do really well and be valedictorian just to show them like, hey, look what I did to get that attention. But yeah, the motivation of it all, I'm just like, I don't get it. not my forte in school. Being like, you're doing so good. I'd be like, when are we going to the next show? Like, I don't know.
Oh dear, how about you?
I could not relate to those kids at all. Like, I don't get it.
Just, you know, it's like if you've wronged them, you're on the list. End of story. It doesn't matter what you've done.
I don't understand. Like, I don't know. I was like, aren't you busy, like watching Fight Club 20 times in a row? I don't know.
Oh, how about you, Elizabeth? What did you think of Ming?
Yeah, and I kind of picked up on the same thing that Katrina did with if she had to become valedictorian, then maybe her parents would actually pay attention to her. So she was like really striving for that. And also, like, she didn't have much of a home life. So, like, even when she was really upset about what happened to Raph or Rafi, she dove into her studies. Like, that was her comfort. That was her, you know, to get her away from reality. So, like, I kind of picked up on that. It was super sad. And, like, her talking about the X's and O's and the amount, like, talk about someone who's, like, really observant with, it's like, oh, you only gave me 1 heart on my text message. Like, why didn't you give me 3 today?
Oh,
you know? So it's, like, super sad.
Yeah. And, like, you do pick up as well that she's quite meticulous, I'll say, because even like when she's doing her graphs and like I think at the end she tries to do an equation of trying to work out who the killer is, which kind of made me laugh, and I was like, does this make
algebra
sense?
It was straight algebra, and I was like, oh wow, I did not make that part.
It didn't even equate the equation. I was like, this is nonsense. Like, I can't figure out this equation. But maybe it was just because it was smarter than, like, I could fathom. I don't know.
Oh, I think it was a case of, like, you know, sometimes when you write something down, it makes more sense. But as a reader, it did not make sense to us. Definitely not. But I also picked up with Ming. I loved talking about the X's and O's. I can't remember what had happened. Something had obviously happened down the book where she writes her own note to go to sleep and puts it under her pillow with the X's and O's. I was like, oh, I'm so sad. I feel so sorry for her. But I did love, we'll chat about the end in a bit, but I did love how she went like Kill Bill style at the end. Because she does mention, like, very, very early on, she does mention that she practiced karate on trees and wrestle anybody who came close enough to challenge what a little terror I was, I think she says. And I was like, that makes sense. What else did I write down about Ming? I think I wrote if he died. Is it Rafe or Raf? I wasn't sure how to pronounce that, but to start with, I was a bit like, is she kind of shallow in a kind of way? Because she says, if he dies, I'm a killer. That's a whole lot worse than losing scholarships and being number 3. So at least, like, she realised at that point that it was very wrong. So that was the turning point for me when that happened, and she did have some sense of guilt there, definitely. Matthew said this would have made a great film if it kind of, because it kind of had a Heather's vibe to it, but also a bit different. Yeah, you can imagine it being like that, definitely. Sharon said, I also thought Linnie's sister for a while too. Yeah, I'm easily gullible. I just fall for these things. Kelly said lots of things came up in the backstories, like Jackson's dad being dead. Oh, yeah. They did give the characters a lot of depth, that you actually did care for them. Even Linnie, definitely lots of depth there. Speedway Chick said, I wouldn't like to have met Linnie's sister. I would have liked to have met Linnie's sister, sorry. Yeah, that would have been cool. A few people saying, yeah, Linnie's sister. Classic. Scott said, I really liked all the 3 characters. Miss Boo Boo said, Linnie's sister is like one of my cousins. Oh dear. Not good. Billy said, Billy's just joined, have we talked about how Ming hasn't seen her parents for 6 years? I mean, in absent parent trope in Point Horror, that's a long time. Yeah, so much eating. Jessie says pizza and milk. Matthew said, we used to have pizza with milk at lunch in school. It's really not that bad. I can't imagine. I just can't imagine. Like, I can't imagine.
Everything in school. It was always or you had to go get the soda machine. Yeah.
Puppies and Paperback said the pizza and milk did take me back to the 90s as far as school lunch offerings. Jessie said so much dairy. Yeah, definitely. So before we have a chat about Linnie, so we mentioned about the game. the game that they set up. So obviously it had a set of rules attached to it, like they had to pick a hat from a name of the list that they came up with. They had 2 weeks to do the hit. They had to do it in a reasonable time, otherwise they had to put the name back for someone else to pick. A successful kill is a public humiliation, and they had to work alone, no telling each other's who's got who. And then they'll vote for like the best hit and treat the winner to something, which we never got to see. Perhaps it was the hand wave. But that was the treat. So what did you think of the game and the rules that they set out? Was it flawed from the beginning, Elizabeth?
I actually really liked it. I got very kind of Mean Girls feels from the beginning, where it was like, you know, we made her face smell like a foot or whatever. And it was just very much that way. So I actually liked it. And I mean, we all knew it was going to go bad. So, but, you know, I think as mean as it was to try to humiliate other people because they were doing better than you, I could probably see myself taking part in something like that when I was in high school.
Yeah. Oh dear. And then it just all goes disastrously wrong. Hopefully not, but yeah. How about you, Kelsi? Did you like the whole game setup, and was it flawed?
I didn't like the game setup. I just thought it was kind of silly. I was like, I would never even think of this. And also, like, the name and the game they're so mismatched. It's like, well, we need to call it the Dead Game because it's a great book title, but it being called, like, the name of that actual game doesn't make any sense. Like, a hit is just a public humiliation. I don't know. I thought it was
the humiliation
kind of absurd,
game.
But fine.
That's what it should be.
Again,
humiliation
yeah.
game.
I do like, though, that, like, it enhanced the cheesiness, it enhanced everything, so I didn't mind it, but I just was like, I don't know if I would, like, want to play this game. It was hard for me to put myself in that mindset is all, but once I kind of understood, like, when they were trying to do the hits, then I was like, okay, I guess I get what they're doing.
Oh, yeah, I don't think I could have played the game because I just feel guilty about everything. I'd be like, sorry. I'd just be like, yeah, you'd know straight away if it was me as well. I'm not a fantastic liar. How about you, Katrina? Did you like the whole game setup and the premise?
I think creatively a 10, but the motivation is a 1 for me because I'm like, I wouldn't follow through with any of that. But yeah, and also, I'm a bad liar. I'd be like, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
It wasn't me.
Like, you'd know straight away. If I'd done anything like that, you would know straight away. You'd just be able to tell from my face. Like, I just got a guilty look. Yeah, no, I couldn't have done it. So would you have played a game like that then, Katrina? No, you wouldn't have, because they would know. No.
I'd be on something else. I'd be like, I got other stuff to do. Sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
Fight Club. Watch Fight Club.
Like, we're going to the Fight Club. I'd be down for that.
No. Kelly said they had a strong moral compass, but they also had a lot to learn. The characters. Sharon says, I'm too easily influenced. When the characters have pizza or burgers, it just makes me hungry. I thought you meant influenced in the game then, and then it turned to food. A bit like Jackson. Matthew said they have a stronger moral compass than I would have back then, especially when the kids that bullied me. Oh, sorry, Matthew. When I was growing up, yeah.
So I have to say the same thing because, like, I was bullied really badly growing up, so I definitely probably would have had that revenge kind of ticker going, being like, I'm going to humiliate you like you humiliated me.
Yeah, definitely. Scott said, I agree, the ending was not a satisfying conclusion to their romance. Oh dear. Mama loves to read said, Kelsi, have you had any sleep? You're a machine.
I'm in my pajamas still. I'm so sorry. Also, my eyes are like so squinty. I apologize. Like my eyes, I keep looking at my own eyes, being like, "Oh my god, they're so squinty." I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'm so impressed, honestly.
Thank you.
Jessie said 90s milk propaganda, laughy face. Yeah. Oh dear. Kelly said it seems to be a stereotype. Given Ming's name and the style of parenting, it went with the parental expectations. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, definitely. And also as well, it's nice in books like this, like Point Horror especially, to see a diverse character appear, which doesn't happen very, very often, especially in Point Horror, and especially for its time. So that was refreshing. Billy said this must have been written during the height of the Got Milk campaign. Yes.
Well, there were a couple of moral kind of things in there, because there was like, drink your milk,
Yeah.
don't do steroids,
Yeah.
don't drink and drive. Like, there was that whole kind of current.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, the drink and driving as well. Yeah. Do your studies. Don't put on a hit list. Speed Rating said, I thought that shouldn't be allowed by the school. Oh, I might have got a bit behind on the comments. I can see how some people who have focused on being number one would have a big problem with the loophole in the system. So obviously the being number one and number two and number three. I don't think over here in the UK it was like that. Back in the day or even now, as in like the rankings then to get your scholarship or go to college, it was just about the grade you got in your exams, I think. So it must have been different in America, I'm guessing. So Scott said, I did wonder if Ming was so fixated on her grades to get her parents' attention, like you were saying. Melina said, I could really identify with Ming and her need to achieve. I was so focused on good grades at school, perhaps wouldn't have gone to the extent of revenge though. Oh, Speed Rating said, I didn't get such a strong impact from Ming's parents like I did from Linnie's. Ah, interesting. Billy said, I couldn't believe we got an algebraic equation in a Point Horror. Thought I'd left all that behind me. See, and it was educational. Another, good thing. Lisa, happy birthday, Lisa. Lisa said, when Ming wrote down her own XO note, it pulled on my heartstrings. Poor guy. Point Horror parents are the worst. Oh yeah, definitely. The note under the pillow broke Jessie's heart as well. Kelly said, didn't read the book, just jumped on to say hi. Hi, Kelly. Scott says, I'm sure they would have treated the winner to food. Yeah, very true. Matthew said, these kids were a lot nicer than we would have actually been growing up in the 80s and 90s. We probably would have just beaten the hits up. We were mean as hell back then. Yeah, very true. Billy said, I felt bad for those on the hit list. How dare you be good at school? That's so true. So obviously, like, the first hit ends up in a disaster, and like someone ends up in hospital. It was Rafe or Raf. The second is shown up to be a womanizer, and the third is obviously brown bread dead, but by stairs and sprinklers. So who would you say had the best hit, or who had the best plan of who to hit, if that makes sense? Kelsi?
I don't know. I know who the worst one was, and because it didn't. I mean, it eventually did work. I thought the jacket one was so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Only because Ming was like, we need to do more and do something that I'm not embarrassed. I'm like, why are you embarrassed? Like, no one knows you stole it. It wasn't that big a deal. She's like, I took the time to steal the jacket. I was like, it's not that much time. It was like 5 minutes. Like, what's the big deal? Anyway, she was so, like, about the jacket. Like, I just remember reading that page, and she just kept going on and on about how she's like, yeah, next time we'll do something that actually embarrasses them, not us, or, like, inconveniences them, not us. I was like, what's the big deal? It was like a 2-minute thing. Anyway, that was the worst in my opinion, but also I do think her other hit in the lunchroom was ridiculous too, because the original plan was good, but how he ended up getting knocked out was ridiculous. I was like, this is absurd. But I really do think that the womanizer hit was the best.
Yeah.
Because I felt like he deserved it, so maybe that's why I liked it so much, because I had no sympathy for that guy at all. Yes.
No.
But
John.
at the end, he didn't learn his lesson. John was like, whatevs, you gotta do what you gotta do. Like, I think he has one line at the end. I was like, what the hell, John? You jerk, John.
Yeah, he didn't even know he was on a hit list. He was just oblivious. He was just like, this is standard practice in this school.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. And he didn't even mourn Brenda. Like, he was seeing Brenda at some point. He didn't even, like, bat an eyelid that she was, like, dead with all her hair messed up like a little troll. Like, you know. Yeah. But the other thing is about the jacket, just to say, and I laughed so much, is that they didn't click that. They were like, why has he got another jacket with the letter A? Well, he's got a twin who's called something with the letter A, so duh. They just did. It's just the way they didn't click about it, and they didn't click till the end, and that just made me laugh as well.
That's like we're great at school.
Oh dear. How about you, Elizabeth? Who was your favourite hit, shall I say?
So I think I have to agree with Kelsi with the philandering guy with the microphone and everything. That was a good plan.
Yeah.
It was a well set out plan. But my favorite one was Ming's on Raph, because it was so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It made me laugh so hard. I'm like, this guy was put in the hospital by being trampled by a wave of people in the cafeteria.
It's the whole description as well, when it says like his head kept coming up like off the floor.
I laughed the whole way through. I was like, this is brilliant. I needed this in my life today.
See, Linnie improved that, because she was the one who caused the surge in the end, didn't she? So she actually improved the hit. Oh dear. How about you, Katrina? Which one did you like?
I definitely agree with Elizabeth about Raft. The trampling and the imagery was just so good. And that part, and like, I remember chuckling because I was reading it at work and I was chuckling. And I was like, if only my coworkers knew what I was even laughing about. How ridiculous. And then, the guy that deserved his hit. I really liked that one, even though it fell apart. But I felt bad about Brenda.
Yeah.
I was like, Brenda didn't deserve that.
But didn't you kind of imagine it? So we got this image of her in pottery class, like doing this over dramatics when she got told off by the teacher. So can you imagine how she fell down those slippery stairs? It was probably like over exaggerated, like you know. But she did die at the bottom.
The music playing in the background.
Yeah. Oh dear. It's when they're discussing like, oh, Brenda would never have gone that way because of her hair. Like, she would never get her hair wet. So all I could picture was like one of those little troll dolls from the 90s where they're like lying there like oh, but she must have really gone to die. She must have really, gone flying. Sounds like something I would do, to be fair. Yeah.
Can I just say
Yeah.
that clumsy me, I actually did fall down the stairs last night. So when I
Oh,
read that,
no.
I was like, oh, I'm like Brenda falling down the stairs.
Oh, you didn't end up with troll hair,
No.
did you, Elizabeth? That's all right then. Oh, are you okay though? Like, did you hurt yourself?
Yeah, there's a few bruises, but nothing broken, so I'm good.
Oh, it's always, but yeah, but she, oh, bless you. But yeah, so that just proves though that Brenda must have exaggerated that falling to die. Just saying. Oh dear, yeah, poor Brenda. But no, I think I'm with you, like, on everything that you've said, and the John one with the tape playing over the speaker when it's like baby, 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 baby. Like, I was like, is this like Justin Bieber before his time or something? It was crazy. But yes, but that did give me a good chuckle. But talking about John, I hate to do this, but he had some really awful chat up lines. So have you ever had a chat up line done to you or that you have used on someone? Kelsi?
Oh, geez. I don't know. I know you sent me this question, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think anyone's used anything crazy. Like, definitely no one's approached me and just said, baby, baby, baby. Like,
and then
like,
baby,
if someone
baby.
did, I would run the other way. I'd be like, bye. Like, this is scary. All they would have to do is really talk nerdy to me. Like, just say a couple of things that are, like, nerdy or whatever. That's a good pickup line. I'd be like, yeah, let's hang out. Whatever.
Yeah, definitely. How about you, Elizabeth? Have you ever had, like, the worst pickup line back in the day or anything like that?
No, but when I picture John, I can picture somebody with like a mullet and tight jeans doing the whole like, did it hurt when you fell from heaven sort of like cheesy line.
Oh, you can just imagine it. Oh no. Too much. How about you, Katrina? Did you ever have any dodgy chat up lines?
No. No.
No.
Usually, yeah, people, when they do hit on me, they're like, oh, I like your shirt, da 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 da, like they'll start talking a little too much to me, and I'm like, yeah, my boyfriend, da da da, and then it's okay. And they get it, and they're like, okay, bye. But they're very, yeah, nobody said it in baby, baby, baby. Yeah, I'd be like, are you serious?
baby. Oh, well, I thought I'd test mine out earlier on the husband. So I was like, hey, baby, want to see my point horror collection? And he was like, have you bought more books?
That's so good. That's so good. I love that.
Yeah, have you bought more books is what I got. It wasn't like, yeah, or anything. It was, yeah, have you bought more books? Yeah. Oh, so yeah, it didn't work. Sharon said this might be a rare point horror where they didn't describe their hair and clothes all the time too. Yeah. I didn't notice any like fashion things or just like Letterman jackets and that's it, letter jackets. Karen said the rankings don't exist for us. Oh, in the UK, so the rankings in the school. Yeah, we went to pauper school, Shelley. Yeah, that's true. Sharon said Broken Brenda. So Sharon always comes up with like a cocktail name.
Broken Brenda.
So we'll have the Broken Brenda today.
Out of pottery.
With a pottery. Karen said my school's version of a prank was setting fire to the science classroom. So I think, oh wow, dramatic
Full on
fire.
arson.
Yeah. Billy said I think the best hit was the voice recording being broadcast to the entire school. Yeah, definitely. But it went on for way too long as well. Cameron said this book would be an adult style horror in my neighbourhood. Whoa, Karen. Heather said, "Hey everyone! Oh no, when did this start? I think I got the timing wrong. Oh bless ya! You're here now. Hello." Puppies and Paperback said, "I went to a small public school. The teachers and our parents went to church together, so you couldn't get away with anything. No pranks and certainly no hits." Oh wow. Sharon said, "I imagine Brenda's death like the end of Death Becomes Her." Yes. When she falls down the stairs. Oh, that's such a good film as well. Oh, I love that film. Oh yes, and Scott said, "Why was Brenda so upset about a drawing?" So Jackson, lovely Jackson, who we love, took the time to sketch out a load of sketches of Brenda shoplifting a bracelet. Like,
Oh yeah.
why? I don't understand.
It
That
would
was
have been easier
dedication.
just to take a picture. I don't know what was going on.
I was like, today we would just use AI to do that, right? Like,
It almost
it was,
ties in with the Jackson being like the sweetheart jock, where it's like that's the best you could come up with, sketching out that she stole something.
And it was just her like overreaction to it as well. Like, there's no evidence there. Like, and I mean, I know we find out a little bit more, but there's no evidence there. It's just a drawing that Jackson has drawn. He must be a good artist. Another string to his bow. And all that. But yeah, it was very random. Karen said, "Petition for Shelley's movie club," because I run a movie club alongside the book club to do Death Becomes Her. Yeah, we'll have to do that. Yeah,
I
that
haven't
would be
seen
really
that one in
good.
a long time. That's a good one.
Isabella Rossellini is so beautiful.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Yes.
gorgeous.
I watched it recently for old school April, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's gorgeous.
Yeah, beautiful. And I've been watching clips as well on TikTok and that of the stage musical that they've done of it. Because I was like, how would they ever do some of the scenes out of the film on the stage? But it's actually pretty clever. Like, if you haven't looked up, just look up a couple. And the way they do the falling down the stairs, it's just genius, like how they do it. Very, very good. Puppies and Paperback said, "Talk nerdy to me, lol." Nerdy works on me. Yeah, definitely. Sharon said, "I've had the cheesy ones like, these are chat-up lines. That dress would look good on my bedroom floor. I offered to post it."
I was bad.
I like that. Karen said, "Honestly, Shelley, that pickup line would legit work." About my point, I was exactly. But my husband is broken. Heather said, "The worst. I had a man stop me while I was grocery shopping to tell me I had nice legs, and if I got my calves from my mum or my dad, oh, no, he can go on the hit list. That's, oh no, that is wrong." Oh, Heather, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Teddy said, "If Jackson used John's chat-up lines, then yeah, they would 100% work on me." I like that. Jessie said the sketches were ridiculous. What a lot of time and effort. Yeah. Sharon said, "Do teens use ChatGPT now for their lines?" Probably. Speed Rating said, "I think it's hard to meet someone in real life. So if someone came up to me and said something nice, I would fall for it." Yeah, like, "Do you want to see my point horror collection? That's nice." So obviously, at the end, we find out the villain, or the reveal, ends up being Linnie. So one of the three core friendship group. And what did you think of that? Did you like the reveal? Were you shocked, or did you guess it halfway through, Kelsi?
I didn't. Well, from the beginning, I knew there was something wrong with Linnie. So if it was going to be one of them, I knew it would be her.
Yeah.
However, I don't know. So they throw in the sister thing, and then just thinking about how we got her point of view the whole time, I'm wondering how reliable was her point of view. Like, for instance, the whole chapter about the way it was written, where her parents were talking to her about, you don't want to miss your sister coming. It didn't seem like a real conversation. And then at the end, Jackson says, they told me, he said things, or the psychiatrist said things about paranoid delusions of grandeur. It all boiled down to Linnie feeling persecuted and thinking she could save the world and being ... like two people in one. Did she even have a sister?
Yeah.
Like, or did she just think she had a sister who she was always getting blamed for, but maybe that was like her bad side? I don't know. That part made me think. I was like, was there even a sister? Because we don't get to see her. Mysteriously, the sister's been around, and then all of a sudden they're like, don't leave, you gotta see your sister, but she leaves anyway to go see the alley. Like, none of that part added up, and also, just the way her parents were talking to her, I don't think that conversation actually happened, or it didn't happen that way. It didn't seem, it was just written really peculiarly. Peculiar? You know, I'm on like 3 hours of sleep. It was written weird, in a weird way.
I never picked up on that, but yeah, you could be right there, you know, that it was like a split personality kind of thing, and I like that theory.
I was really thinking about that line, and I was like, wait a second. Like, obviously the sister's in there to throw you off a little bit, but I'm thinking it's like more a part of the story than I'm realizing. Again, this is just me like guessing stuff. I don't know. This is my brain on 3 hours of sleep, so I don't know.
We like it. How about you, Katrina? What did you think? Did you like? I keep wanting to call her Len. It is Lenny. No, it's Lanny. No, it's Linnie. I've got no excuse. I've had good sleep.
I really thought it was her sister, or it was going to be her sister, because I feel like Point Horror does that a lot. It's like, oh, like having that red herring, but it usually is the case. Whether it be supernatural or anything. Like, the ghost of the sister or something. But yeah, I was like, oh, it has to be her, because we don't have the POV of the sister. I don't know. I just fell for it completely.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. I was like, but it makes sense.
Yeah, because I definitely think, like, now I'm like on board with Kelsi's theory, but before I was like, why would she do all that work about a sister and then not use it because I'm that gullible? But anyway. How about you, Elizabeth? Did you think it was Linnie all along, or did you guess halfway through?
I had kind of a heavy suspicion. It's like, especially at the beginning when everybody's like, well, we're not going to kill people. She's like, well, no, I wasn't talking about actually killing people. And I was like, hang on a second. Hang on. But when they threw in the sister, I was like, oh, is this going to veer off into like what we see all the time? But I was dead set on her. But I have to say, Kelsi, that's a brilliant assessment. And maybe when I'm reading these books, I have to be reading them when I'm going on like zero sleep, so I could come up with those kind of theories.
It helps.
Yeah,
it helps apparently.
Oh yeah, but I did actually quite like Linnie. Like, I know like she's a killer and everything, but like without her, like we wouldn't have had a story. They wouldn't have come up with the hit list. Some of the hits would have been awful without Linnie's interference, like the cafeteria one. And like I quite liked, she wasn't like a typical point horror girl as well. You know, she could stand up for herself, and she did. I loved her. She had an obsession with napkins as well, and with her little sausage fingers.
The napkin part reminded me of, if anyone see the 𝐓𝐴𝐳 movie where he's tearing the paper. So as soon I'm like getting all these clues that Linnie's messed up, so the tearing of the paper, I was just imagining the 𝐓𝐴𝐳.
I knew it was familiar, and she's like messing with these these napkins all the time, and then I think she moves on to like grass at one point, like shredding the grass and stuff. And I was like, this seems a little bit familiar. But yeah, I think I love as well how you know, like you've mentioned, that she goes a bit wild to start with. Like, she's like, axe them, ice them, knock them off, bump them off, chop, death. And then she goes, I'm completely serious, it's the perfect solution. And the other two are like, whoa, we're not actually going to kill anybody. But yeah, I did quite like Linnie. But yeah, what did you think of the whole end scene? So the end scene where Ming just turns into some like super awesome like superhero. Linnie, there's that whole confusing scene. So they all basically they all can't go to the police station together for some reason. They all make up weird excuses as well, like dentist appointments, typing letters for daddy, and having dinner guests, which we never know who the dinner guest was, but anyway. But yeah, so they all have these excuses. They all can't go to the police together. So we get this like really confusing kind of ending. And then all of a sudden it just turns like, I think, really awesome. Like, Ming just goes for it. She's got a broken arm. Her arm flopped around like a dead fish. A screaming dead fish. And so we get all this. What did you think of the end, Elizabeth?
I wanted Jackson to die.
Wow.
I was like, this is too convenient. I wanted her to fight, and I wanted her to be, you know, awesome, and but eventually have Jackson die at the end. I was like, oh, this is a little bit too convenient. And then she waved at him. So
it was all worth him not dying to see the waves. That's what it was. What did you think, Kelsi, of the ending?
I liked how she kind of went all hardcore and badass, pardon my French. I really liked that. I thought, okay, but my favorite part was, I did like the fish part, but I also liked the part where she's like, my arm detached from my body. And then she's like, oh wait, it's still there.
Hang on,
so like, I'm relieved. I just love that part so much. But also there was a lot of like feeling around in the dark, and that scene was kind of convoluted, but honestly it added to the charm of the whole thing, so no complaints.
It's the thing with the arm as well, when she's like, to start with, she's not sure whether the arm has completely been ripped off her body, and I was like, I'm sure that you would know, because you would be in more pain than what you're in. But you know, I've never had my arm dislocated or anything, so I don't know, it could be just as painful. But that whole arm thing did make me laugh when she's seen like, I can see red and green.
Yeah.
Oh, bless her. And like, how did she even muster that strength to like climb up and then just, well, she didn't jump really, did she? She kind of fell, I reckon, and fell right on target, right on Linnie. Perfect. How about you, Katrina? Did you like the ending?
I did like the ending. The whole, when Ming was in action, I was like, oh yeah, because she practiced karate against a tree. I was like, okay, this was a good setup. So I liked it, and I was rooting for Ming and Jackson. But yeah, that the very, very end, I was like, that was kind of like a handshake. That should have been a handshake, right?
She was so relieved Jackson made it, and she was so worried about him dying. He'll die before I never tell him. And then she waves, like that's what she does when he survives. Like all of that worry. She literally mentions it so many times. Like, one, shouldn't you be upset about him dying, period? Like, not just because you have feelings for him, but because he's like, one, your friend, two, just a human being. But no, like the first thing she's like, I like him, don't die, whatever. But then she decides to just celebrate with a wave. It's so sad.
Oh, and also she celebrates by also saying about Linnie, she wasn't evil, she was just Linnie. It's just
what does that mean?
that's the form of acceptance,
Yeah.
I think. Like,
Yeah. She was just Linnie, not evil.
that's Lenny being Lenny.
Oh dear. But yeah, I did quite like the ending. Now you've said it, Elizabeth, I wouldn't have minded if Jackson had died, even though I loved him, but at least it would have given like some purpose to it
See?
all.
Instead of
I'm
the
not evil. I'm just Linny. I
Yeah.
just want more horror in my books.
We want more death. We don't want a wave. We want. Oh dear, but yeah. So and I just did love that whole thing where she just jumped off the rock. I could just picture it. And funny enough, I think I was talking to my friend Narissa when I first picked this book, and I said all I can remember about this book from when I read it back in the day was someone jumping off a rock. So it must have made some type of impact in my brain, because when I got to it, I was like, ah, I knew that my memory wasn't wrong. But why would I even remember that? Like, it's just ridiculous. Just scroll through some comments. Billy said, his reply to my point horror chat up line would be, "You had me at point horror." Kev, we're getting divorced. Oh dear. Sharon said, I thought Linnie's sister was dead and possessing Lenny. Why do I keep calling her Lenny? Linnie too. Oh dear. Teddy said, thought the reveal was very good. If I'm honest, thought the sister was too obvious. Felt a bit like it had been intentionally put in, as the editor said it needed a red herring. Yeah. Now I think about it, yeah. Karen said, if anyone has seen Narissa's point horror sketches, so Narissa, my friend Narissa, always does like a teen life lesson sketch to go with the book, and I always post it, and they're just fantastic. Like she's so brilliant. She's put so many different elements of this book onto it. It's fantastic. Kelly said, I did think at first mention of the sister earlier in the book that she was dead. Oh wow. And maybe that was why Linnie was doing it. Oh, okay. Miss Boo Boo said, I haven't quite finished it yet, but I'll have to think about and then I don't know whether I've missed something or further up or further down. I'll get to it in a minute. Oh, here we go. I haven't quite finished rereading, so I'll have to check the sister analysis. Yeah. Billy said, I thought it mentioned Linnie's sister was working at the rando town where Linnie got the tape recorder. Oh, so I thought she witnessed the exchange with the clerk and therefore was the killer. Ah, yeah. Speed Rated said, yeah, I definitely got a split personality, but I didn't think the sister wasn't real. Oh, wow. This is brilliant. I'm like, it's blown my mind. Scott said, I was suspicious of Linnie and she was I was suspicious of Linnie as she was taking the game really seriously and putting the most effort into her hit. Yeah. Like she did put some serious effort in, didn't she, in that tape? Even pretending that like someone had stolen it at the party as well. Like that's like commitment to the cause. Speed Rachel said, just read that back, not me. I meant I understood Linnie. I understood Linnie had a split personality. So Speed Rachel thought that as well. Kelly said, I was a bit disappointed, I presume, with the ending, but then the explanation and how sympathetic Jackson seemed to be in explaining what happened was well done. Yeah, he was very sympathetic considering he'd just almost been drowned and hit over the head with a rock. Oh dear. And like how did Linnie pull him that far when like we know he was a food lover? Oh, he'd lost weight. That's what it was. Yeah, I just answered my own question while I was thinking
Convenient.
about it. Yeah.
Convenient weight loss.
That's
Come
why
on.
that was put in. Kelly said there was a real moral of the story angle, and it was quite deep, really. Contemplated who would miss you when you die. Yeah, there's a whole line about that, and how cheats shouldn't win. Yeah, so it was teaching us a valuable lesson. Scott said, I wasn't 100% sure Linnie meant to kill Brenda. I thought it was an accident. I don't think it was. Do you think Linnie pushed Brenda or enticed her at least down the stairs, made those stairs like slippery somehow, more slippery than normal? I think so. I reckon. Teddy said, Elizabeth, how dare you want my Jackson dead?
I'm sorry.
Oh, hi, Larissa. Yeah, everyone loves Jackson. Matthew said, yeah, I think poor Jackson would be worn down to a nub if he met this group. Oh, and Zelda says, poor Jackson. Yeah. Oh, dear. Oh, Bad's Library said, you are troopers. Did you guys get any sleep? You guys rock.
A little.
Zelda said, to be honest, I guessed it was Linnie, but I also thought she killed her sister as well. Oh, killed the sister. Yeah. Interesting. Narissa said Jackson and Ling were good characters, I thought. Yeah, definitely. And Narissa said the plot was a bit silly at times, but characterization was certainly decent. Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely. So, like, overall, did you have fun with the book? Like, would you recommend it or read it again, Kelsi?
I probably wouldn't read it again, but I would recommend it and be like, if you want a cheesy, ridiculous time, hell yeah. Like, it's not a 5-star, okay? It's definitely not a 5-star, but like a solid 3-star when you're just in the mood for ridiculous, like no thinking cheese. It's super breezy.
Yeah.
Like, this was such a breeze to read. It took no time at all. So honestly, I would recommend it just for like a palate cleanser almost.
Yeah.
If you were reading heavier things or longer things and you just wanted to have some kind of fluff, I think it would do just fine.
Yeah, I agree with that. How about you, Elizabeth? Would you recommend it? Did you have fun?
Yeah, I did exactly the same thing that Kelsi said. And every once in a while, especially us nostalgia lovers, like we need this. We need the cheese,
Yeah.
we need the 90s, we need everything. And can I just say, my favorite part of the entire book was when the little brother came to wake up Jackson, and Jackson said, why didn't you get a drink from the bathroom? And he's like, because you can't get chocolate milk out of the faucet.
Oh,
That was so good.
Sweet. Oh dear, I love that bit. That was so
That was
good.
very wholesome.
Oh, my little heart.
So
Oh, yeah. How about you, Katrina? Would you recommend it? Did you have fun?
Yeah, I had fun. And yeah, it was easy. And yeah, cheesy. I still will never understand the motivation of these characters. But yeah, 3 stars for me. But it was good. It was a good palate cleanser for me because I read Buffalo Hunter and then picked this up. And I was like, I didn't think I was going to read a book again after Buffalo Hunter. So I feel good now. I can move on with my life. But yeah, it's like, oh, this is fun and very light, and it was a unique point horror. It was different than other ones I've read. I haven't read a ton.
Yeah.
But compared to like a Pike book or like a Fear Street book, I feel like it was very different.
Yeah, I feel like it's an easy read. You can get through it quite quick, like we've said. And also talking about favourite bits in the book, I meant to mention that it does mention it has a CD player feature, not a tape recorder. And the CD player could mix songs from 5 CDs. That's super cool for like back in the 90s.
Yeah.
So I was like,
it held multiple CDs.
So
those were cool.
It will play like random songs, but can you imagine? I can hear the noise now of when it changes like CD as well, and that would happen like every other song. Oh dear, but yeah, I agree. It was a fun read. and I just flew through it again. It was just so readable and enjoyable as well. Just pure cheese. Bad Library said, "Oh, check out this book, Cheesing Ridiculous. Sounds perfect." Yeah. Lisa said, "Overall, this was one of my favourite point horrors. I loved it." I like that. Matthew says, "I'm still having fun with it. It's a great read." Sorry we spoiled it for you, Matthew. I did say spoilers. Zelda said, "I actually read it in the middle of reading longer stuff, and it was a nice fun read in between." Yeah. Sharon said, 3-star for me too, fun and cheesy. Billy said, "I agree, it was a solid 3 stars, but a lot of fun and a breeze to read. Ridiculous, but fun." Larissa said, "I remember confusing it for a 𝐓𝐴𝐻𝐾𝐿s." Oh yeah, so for a D. Atkins, but so ended up thoroughly surprised by how much I enjoyed it. That's true. Scott said, "Yes, this was a fun read. I like the characters." Let's see if I get to the end. Matthew said, "My first CD player would mix from 5 CDs. I got it in 1990. It's like, it was so cool back then." Yeah, so thanks guys. Thanks for like reading it and coming on to chat. I'm sure that we saw things that we didn't even realise were part of the book. We saw it on a deeper level and we wanted to kill off Jackson even though we loved him. But it's been super fun. I'm so glad that we finally had a chance to all chat with each other. I've been wanting to do it for a while, so this was the perfect opportunity. And well done on a fabulous old school April again. Another year of nostalgic fun, so brilliant. And thank you for everyone in the comments as well, and do check out these wonderful ladies. I'll put a little story up so that you can go and follow them on YouTube and on their Instagram profiles and wherever they are. They're everywhere. They're just like, you know, everywhere, like a good old hit list. Oh, thanks guys, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
having
Thanks.
me.
Bye. Oh, hang on, we've got to finish off with the waves.
Bye.
See you guys. See you later.